Illuminati energy harvesting, SRA, which is satanic ritual abuse, and MK Ultra. So I want to share a portion of my story in this great awakening. It obviously has been going on for my whole life since the Magic Rail Indigo children were targeted by the United States government, probably other governments, the CIA, as well as secret societies. So the story when I was targeted by a group of women affiliated with JFK Jr. goes back to April of 2021. People who vampirize energy from others can, for some time, appear high energy. They can fake it and achieve fame and fortune. Perfect youth, fantastic charm, and charisma due to stolen energy. If this is hard for you to believe, consider that this theme is very common across mythology, folk tales, legends, religion, and a wide variety of fiction. With stolen energy, one can attain wild supernatural experiences, but at a price. On a smaller scale, it's like with drugs, where you can take DMT and have a peek into certain parts of the astral realm and other densities. It's like cheating. And I was targeted since I was a little girl of 6. But again, like I said, there was a group of women that targeted me in April of 2021. In April of 2021, I was befriended by a group of women who are affiliated with Negative 48 and 107, both thought to be JFK Jr. Michelle Klan, called me every day for a month, studying me. She has access to my birth chart and is an astrologist, or so she claimed to me. Okay. Adriana DeSocio set up 3 different occurrences on Telegram. Others in these groups or similar ones went by the names of Kristen, she spoke in tongues, Tara, Major Flip, Kathy, Jennifer, Kim, Matthew, and Liz. Okay, so Negative 48 is also Michael Protzman. And I think these people use voice modulators. So again, it's all mass manipulation. It's part of how these Illuminati Luciferians work. I guess they always have to try and set somebody else up to take the fall for them. The other one is 107, who supposedly is a dude by the name of William Willett, as well as JFK Jr., again using voice modulators. And then there's 2 Kennedys, because Patrick Bouvier Kennedy did not die at birth. Apparently him and JFK Jr. are actually twins. So, and then the group that they set up in Telegram, Kristen would claim that she spoke in tongues. Major Flip got really assertive with me, trying to intimidate me in Telegram with subliminal fear tactics, which obviously don't work with me. Okay, so on the first episode, it was like Adriana claimed an influencer needed help, and during the session, they dropped my body temperature so low that it took 5 or 6 hours to re-regulate. Kristen was talking in tongues. Adriana called me the next day and stated something like, Mickey needs us to do this again. I strongly declined and stated that he needed to help himself. Okay, so more on this one. So when Adriana called, they said that we had to do something before President Trump's speech. It was really important. And Kristen was saying that she was in telepathic communication with President Trump, JFK, and JFK Jr. And that they were saying to lay low, which then comes to yellow, I guess. And she's kept on saying something about crystals, and I really wasn't sure. Now, in retrospect, yellow or lay low would be my sacral and my solar plexus, is where they harness all my energy for their energy vampirism, and where they can manipulate my chakras in order to manipulate for themselves. And having dropped my temperature so low, listening to the other starseeds out there, they actually were trying to spiritually sacrifice me. But because I have higher spiritual ranking than they do, they're unable to hurt me in this manner. So that was the first encounter that Adriana set up in a Telegram group a little chat group where there were like 5 of us. Okay, and then Adriana contacted me on July 4th of 2021, stating that they needed to do something before President Trump's speech. Kristen kept asking me if I could feel anything or changes. I wasn't sure what she was referring to or asking about. Okay, so that day we went out to our little sailboat, and they kept on like saying there was something that needed to be done, and they used my love for President Trump and my devotion to always want to help him, help everybody. And I don't know what kind of chakra manipulations that they were doing or what kind of ritual was being done, but Kristen was acting like really weird in the conversation, and she was like, can you feel this, can you feel this? And I really couldn't. And it was also on that day where they were asking about our palm prints, and I shared my palm prints with them because I didn't realize that these people were actually against me and not for me. So the July ritual, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April would make sense to be some kind of conception ritual, so that over Easter something could be born. And that's just what comes to me intuitively. I don't know whether it is pertinent or not. Another time, Adriana claimed that I needed to be baptized. Kristen was speaking in tongues again, and when they mentioned blood of Christ, there was a tremendous force that clamped down around me. I wasn't sure if it was my ancestors protecting me or what exactly it was. I don't buy the eat my flesh, drink my blood nonsense. To me, it's closely related to Satanism from my perspective. I recently learned that Adriana is under FBI investigation related to affiliations to unrests on January 26th of 2021 in Washington, D.C. She also shared with me that she had worked closely with JFK Jr. when he was posing as Vincent Fusca. So yeah, that was a really horrible experience because it just felt this force clamped down around me. So it could have been a binding spell. Because after that incident, I really had difficulty, and come to find out later, it was probably chaos or confusion magic, because it felt like I had a hamster on steroids on a hamster wheel in my head. It was crazy. Everything was confusing. Nothing would make sense. It was horrible. And I really did feel like I was losing my mind, but it was all the witchcraft that these people were doing on me, and I didn't even realize that it was a thing. So apparently JFK also goes by Vincent Fusca. Again, there are 2 of them. These people are playing different roles, and they are deceitful. So apparently Vincent Fusca is also being played by John Denver, who also went into witness protection to expose the Luciferianism and the nonsense that goes on behind the scenes, I'm sure. The other one that also apparently played Vincent Fusca is Steve Irwin, and Steve Irwin comes to 144 as well. So I do believe that he also went into witness protection to expose the insane cruelty done towards animals in all of these sanctuaries. And I think there's a lot of child sacrifice that happens in these places as well. So for me, it seems like JFK Jr. has used a lot of people and fronted using their names, or again, it's just to muddle with people. Listening to other light workers, starseeds, and spiritualists, these are all forms of black magic, and I was under heavy chaos and confusion magic. Then I learned that there are witch covens, doing death rituals, hoodoo voodoo, graveyard magic, hiring witch doctors, spiritual assassins, etc. 18 months ago, I didn't know that witches and warlocks were real. I didn't know that any of this even existed. I couldn't understand why I would be targeted by these individuals, and then through quiet meditation and contemplation, I was able to connect the dots. I was targeted by the fake Kennedys when I was a little girl. Apparently their real name is Clooney. Most peculiar occurrences related to deaths, injuries, emergencies, etc. appear to happen around Easter time throughout my life, or July, August, September, with the Lionsgate portal. I lost best friends, grandmothers, cousins, like everybody that was really close always seemed to be lost, around Easter time. So it was really eye-opening. Okay, so in 1988, I had to have an emergency appendectomy over Easter weekend. On September 12th of 1988, JFK Jr. was voted the sexiest man alive. I was 13 at that time. So the Lionsgate portal is when Sirius, Earth, and the Orion constellations are all in alignment with each other. The chakra, the sacral chakra, is where we tap into our primal desire for passion. The large intestine, pelvis, appendix, bladder, and lower vertebrae, and the hips. Okay, so the sacral chakra, this is the second chakra, or sacral chakra, is called Svadhisthana in Sanskrit. It is positioned above the pubic bone, and it represents our source of creativity and sexuality. So obviously then if this dude is harvesting my energy, because they can manipulate energy to induce the appendectomy, right? So then they were harvesting my energy to manifest in him. Okay, so these people harvest energy from others so that they can manifest for themselves. This bloodline cannot create and have to draw life force from others to manifest abundance in their life. Okay, what chakra rules the appendix? The navel chakra is located on the navel. It controls and energizes the small and large intestine and the appendix. The navel chakra is the center of instinct and knowing. These people are not who people think they are. They're not of the light, unfortunately. In around July, August of 1988, when I was 6 years old, I experienced a scary episode with a demon beast monster looking like a Minotaur, Marduk, or Moloch. When doing more research, I was able to deduce that JFK Jr. was in South Africa at that time. So this particular night, I went outside to feed my dog a piece of bacon. And when I went into the courtyard, there was a door that we couldn't open. It was always closed. And when I stepped outside, I gave my dog a piece of bacon. And when I turned around, there was this huge beast. It kind of had curvy horns like I've shown. I don't remember if it had wings or not. It just scared the bejesus out of me. And this apparently is how these Luciferians or these people in the Illuminati families harvest the chosen children's energy. They harvest our energy or to use our spiritual gifts to manifest for themselves. So the root chakra is which would have been affected. So the root chakra is connected to the adrenal medulla and the inner parts of the adrenal gland that is involved with the fight or flight response. Feeling unsafe or in fear for your life will shut down the root chakra, blocking any movement of energy from the root chakra through the body. So again, that is the base, that is your instinct, that's the base of, it's one of the first chakra systems that is developed, and it is that feeling of safety and security. So obviously creating that imbalance by sending this beast was the way for them to harness my spiritual gifts and keep drawing off of me to manifest for themselves. As crazy as it sounds, it's the only thing that makes sense. So also around that time, I was almost kidnapped by two men in a white van, and there was a murder attempt on our lives by the gentleman that tended the gardens at our home. So my friend Janice Angove and I were playing in the park one day, and there was a white van. I guess it circled 3 times, and at the time I really didn't realize that I had paid that close attention. It was just peripherally. But when the 2 men stepped out of the van, there was a shift in the atmosphere. I don't know how else to, it was just, we needed to get away. So my friend and I ran, and I remember looking down at my legs, and I was running really, really fast. And then we went and hid in my granny's courtyard, and when the dudes turned around and left. But when I got home, my mom scolded me. She was like, they steal little girls and sell them to Saudi Arabian sheiks, and we will never see you again if they get you. So even then, my mom was aware of child trafficking or them stealing little children. which for me was interesting because I was scolded. But again, you know, it was obviously for my own safety. And then we were nearly murdered by our garden boy, which was also really peculiar. But we did manage to get away and were safe. And then that December, I believe John Lennon went into witness protection on my 7th birthday that year, which was on December 8th of 1980. John W. Lennon also comes to 144. So also when I was doing my research about, you know, the monster that was conjured and sent to me to scare me, I found this information on the internet. In a handwritten letter dated July 2nd, 1980, Jackie wrote to a school official named Miss Romer about John Jr.'s inability to complete 2 courses that would allow him to finish his freshman year in good standing. John is in Africa and not expected to be home until the 3rd week in August, Jackie explained. I will try to get in touch with him by cable, though he is moving about. I ask him to come home early so that he make up his courses by September 15th. Okay, so then I also, again, because it's that around that time, it's the Lion Gates portal is when Sirius, Earth, and the Orion constellations are all in alignment with each other. So the only thing that makes sense to me is like these are times in my life when I was supposed to get spiritual enlightenment or downloads. They knew this, and because they knew my destiny, they figured they would intercept this. And I guess that's why they conjured up the beast, so that his mommy and daddy could buy my spiritual gifts for him on the black market. Again, the Kennedys are not who they portray to be. People want them to be heroes, and they are not. Um, be mindful. Like, I have no reason to make any of this up, and it's my truth. So going back even like further to when I was 3, was when I had to have a tonsillectomy. Assuming it's all related somehow, that would be around August of 1977 too. That is when Elvis Presley went into witness protection, the day after the wow signal reverberated through the cosmos. Okay, so Vladislav Presley died on August 14th of 1958. Elvis Presley was really close to his mom. And I know I've shared this before, and I'll probably share it every time it comes up, just because I'm sure people might not watch every single video, so there might be some reiteration of information. So Gladys died of acute hepatitis, and I think it could be related to alcoholism, but it could also be fluoroquinolones, which is antibiotics, which are really not good for you, and you should only take antibiotics if your life absolutely depended on it, and then I would question it as well, because that's not all it's made out to be. Anyway, so that's when Gladys passed away. And then the other thing is the wow signal reverberated through the heavens on August 15th of 1977. So if I had access to my medical records, I wouldn't be surprised at this point if that's when I had my tonsillectomy. And because we're all spiritually connected, and Elvis Presley knew what was going on. Well, let me go back to the wow signal. That would have been the warning to the powers that be that they messed with the wrong child. Because again, I am one of the Magic Whale Indigo kids, which I'm deducing, and I'm not coming from a place of, ooh, you know, oh, me, pick me kind of thing. It's not that at all. It's just purely based on life experiences that I'm called to share. And I guess those that hear my voice is an activator, so it only matters to those chosen. So if it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. It will all link up when you have enough downloads and enough synapses that light up and collect all the dots for you. So for me, the most thing that makes sense was the wow signal was a warning to them that they messed with the wrong kid. Elvis Presley went into witness protection on August 16th of 1977. He's going by the name of Bob Joyce. My neighbors when I was a little girl were Bob and Joyce Upton, up until I was 5 years old from birth. So it's really interesting because it's Leilani Ulosa comes to 144, Bob Joyce Elvis is 144, John W. Lennon is 144, Elvis Lives is 144, and I should probably add on to this one as well that Owen is 144. So if nothing is random and there's no such thing as a coincidence, this makes one scratch your head and wonder. I hope that Elvis and Lennon are my friends. So the tonsils is obviously your voice, right? That's your throat chakra. So energetically, tonsils are part of the throat chakra. Speaking the truth, feeling silenced, feeling that you are unheard are a few reasons. Okay, so I do believe that John Lennon is Steve Jobs and is going by a different name now. I do believe Elvis is Bob Joyce. Um, and I do believe that Rush Limbaugh was Jim Morrison. And I guess these people went into witness protection to expose the darkness, but they were betrayed by the Kennedys. I think many people were betrayed by the Kennedys because they didn't think that I would remember, or they weren't able to sacrifice me as they had intended. Because I am a child of God, I'm here for a bigger purpose. And again, they're trying to usurp the throne, which is the stargates and access to the ley lines on this earth, because they know whoever controls the ley lines controls humanity. And that's why we were put here, was to expose them, the vampires, basically. So it is, you need to be careful who you follow out there, because the more you wake up and you realize that the Alpha Draconians at the beginning of this time matrix, which is the Metatronic time matrix related to religion, they teach you about the snake or the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Well, those were the Alpha Draconians, and the only way that they could live on Earth or get control over the energetic grid lines was to incarnate into human form. So this is the AB negative blood type, especially in these Illuminati families where they believe they are the blue bloods and they are superior and they are royalty and they are above everybody else, when in actuality they are really not, because they're inbred. They are conceived on moon cycles, to the point of insanity. It sounds like, just from my perspective, listening to the other light workers and star seeds that are tapping into these lower vibrational beings. So RH negative blood type, the RH blood type and the RH negative blood type in particular are reptilian recessive. It's a rare DNA blood type trait that appears in people all over the globe. Again, I'm not saying everybody has the option to change. Okay, so these people tend to have personality traits of being extremely obsessive, left-brained, egomaniacal, will do anything and everything to win at all costs, even if it means harming innocent people. So in this case, it's safe for me to wonder, since they were unable to sacrifice me or lure me to murder me, basically, and I listened to my intuition and avoided it, thankfully, it's like, how many people have they managed to hurt behind the scenes? So again, I really implore people to be mindful on who you follow and don't just believe anyone and everything. Again, this is just what resonates with me, and I feel needed to share. Diana is apparently AB negative, the JFK and his family is, and the other one's George W. Bush, who is a child murderer, and the Bush family did the physical sacrifices of children. These people energetically sacrifice us. They harvest from our life force and try and make us sick through energy manipulation and black magic, which doesn't work, because you cannot target God's children and those that have higher spiritual ranking than you. We are here to expose you. So this is just my little disclaimer. Energy is fluid. Decode shit could be past, present, or future from this timeline or previous lifetimes. Take what serves you and leave the rest. If you are an energy vampire and play in intuitive's energetic fields, they may become aware of what you're doing. If you don't want to be caught, don't meddle or siphon another's energy. Always know that there is always a higher power watching over you. Only take what serves your higher purpose and what is for your greatest good. Once you know better, you do better. All things bright and beautiful to you and yours. Huge hugs and big love. Obviously, my voice is an activator. I am not deceitful, and I'm trying to divulge information as clearly and as honestly as I can deduce. And again, those that are chosen, the star seeds that hear my voice, will be activated, and we'll be able to fulfill our mission. And that's what's most important to me. Thank you, and I hope you have a bright and beautiful day.